Let me present a report, Qualitative Evaluation of the Process of Functionality Stable Recovery Control of the Aircraft in Emergencies with an algorithm based on solving inverse dynamic problems by Oleg Mashkov, Viktor Chumakevych, Vadym Ptashnyk, and Igor Puleko. Functional stability theory originated in the 1980s and was used to control complex dynamic objects and computing systems. This theory makes it possible to respond promptly to system and blocks failures to redistribute the functions of the failed blocks between those capable of performing the final task. The use of this theory was limited by the capacities of computing systems and by the need to reserve the main blocks of the control system. For this reason, this theory was used for the control systems of large aircraft. With progress, the dimensions of control systems elements have degrees, and the characteristics of computing systems have improved significantly. So, this theory has evolved significantly and has become applicable to complex dynamic control objects of a broad purpose. The dynamic object shown in figure 1 is written in the form of a linear difference equation. The control device shown in figure 2 is described as equation on the slide. Structural scheme of a closed system is shown in figure 3. In functionally stable systems, the vector of parameters of the reducing filter shown in figure 4 must change so as to ensure the optimality of the whole system over time. To solve this problem, we will use the method of inverse dynamic problems presented on the slide. The mathematical description is based on the matrix equation 1. The presented theory is intended to provide a given programmatic moment of the object of control and may provide for solving the problems of stabilization, terminal control, and adaptive tracking. An object that can be described by the system 1 must be on a given trajectory and provide a minimum of the functionality of quality described by the system 2. Examples of a synthesis of functionally stable automatic systems for stabilization of motion of dynamic objects based on the solving inverse problems of dynamics are known. To evaluate the quality of such systems, it is necessary to evaluate the resilience and the characteristics of the transients. The system of matrix differential equation 1 can be represented as a structural diagram shown in figure 7. To solve the problem, we assume that the programmatic moment is asymptotically stable. The following conditions are imposed on this class of controlled dynamic systems. First, there is a subspace R and a unique function U such that for any pair of points x, z and the point C, the identity 3 is satisfied. The condition 3 guarantees the existence and uniqueness of an ideal programmatic control law, which ensures the accurate implementation of programmatic movement. Second, restriction 4 are imposed on the initial and constant external disturbances. Third, Hurwitz matrix 5 with prime eigenvalues gamma, where x is the determined initial vector of state and gamma are the roots of the characteristics equation of the system. Fourth, due to the selection of the Hurwitz matrix, the required transient process is provided. For the system 9, the roots of the characteristic equation determined the stability of the system in general. If the roots have negative real parts, the real solution of the system is unstable. When the roots do not have a positive real parts, but at least one with a zero real part, the system is on the limit of stability. According to the condition 6, the matrix is chosen with prime eigenvalues. Thus, the programmatic moment in general will be asymptotically stable. Let us give an estimate of the maximum time of the transient process. Case 1, external influences are absent. Let the law of control be a synthesis in form 11. The expression 11, given the expression 10, can be represented in the form 12. Denote as Tn at the time of the transient process in the system. Then, the time Tn of the transient process can be estimated using the expression 13. Case 2. External disturbances occur. Let the controlled object be described by the equation 15. The control U is of the chosen form 16. The equation of the closed loop system have the form 17. The time of the transient process is of the chosen form 18. We can conclude that in the presence of external disturbances, the time of transient process increases. With great disturbances, the time of transient process increases significantly. To reduce the time of the transient process in the system, it is necessary to increase gamma by means of an appropriate choosing of control. For a multidimensional controlled object, satisfying determinate C not equal 0, the structure of the control algorithm does not explicitly contain the equation of motion of the object. The proposed approach of the construction of controlled algorithm allows obtaining algorithms without using detailed equations of the controlled process. Moreover, it is sufficient to use as a mathematical model the generalized equation that reflect the fundamental laws of motion. Through synthesis, the aircraft control algorithm, complete nonlinear equation of motion can be used without linearizing them. The resulting algorithms are also nonlinear. Their structure is adequate to the structure of mathematical model of controlled process, and the parameters of this algorithm are determined by the parameters of mathematical models of assigned motion trajectories. In essence, the construction of aircraft motion control algorithm along the assigned trajectory has two aspects. The first one is related to the direct formation of the vector of the required control force, and the other is related to the calculation of the value of the elements of the vector of the control function that creates the necessary force. The calculation relations, according to which these parameters are calculated, form the contents of the motion control algorithm. The coefficient of the control systems are determined by the basic parameters of the motion of the object as well as by the parameters of the assigned program trajectory. This allows changing the parameters of the programming trajectory in the object moment. Thank you for your attention.